And hey, some
Hey,
more. Welcome back to Girl Chat Sports. We took a nice little break off, me and Mo. How did you have a good Thanksgiving with
I
family?
did. Did
Shout out.
you? Did you have a good one?
I did. I had a
Good.
great trip out to the East Coast, hung out with the East Coast Ferrises, and basically watched sports and slept a lot. Like that was pretty much my weekend, you know?
Good.
Yeah. Shout out to all the East Coast people, including our guests we'll have on here in a second, because I don't know how anyone does it that lives on the East Coast watching sports. I mean, we're watching Thursday night football. It's up until midnight. I watched the Gonzaga Duke game that went on until 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'm a night owl, but a Sunday comes, you're waking up ready to have a little brunch, watch football because
Right.
we got 10 a.m. games out here, and you're waiting around because they don't start till 1. And I'm like, what are we doing? We're just sitting around waiting for football. Okay, cool. Yeah. So it threw me for a loop. I'm not sure how well I'd be if I lived out there on the east side.
Well, it's definitely an adjustment. I mean, watching a game at 10 o'clock at night is never like what's going on. But
Yeah.
hey, it's their after hours nightlife situation set
Ah,
up.
man, I never
It's the
even like
after
really
party.
thought about it like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's the after
interesting.
party.
The after party for the after party, but you had a
Right.
good holiday. You saw the
I did.
family.
I did. Ate
Good.
a little bit too much, but with me, the holidays is my busiest time of year for my job.
Oh
So
yes.
we're into, the whole Black Friday and post that. So yeah, I mean, I didn't get
Were
a
there a
chance to
lot of
really.
shoppers for Black Friday? I heard that Black Friday wasn't as busy as usual because a lot of stores are now closed on Thursday and possibly sometimes Friday, and a lot of online stuff. I mean, online sales for Black Friday were starting like the Monday before.
Yeah, like and Amazon didn't help with that either, but there still was a lot of foot traffic in the malls. It was more than I had seen in quite some time.
Okay.
Yes, and some good consumer shopping, but a lot of stores didn't have doorbuster deals. A lot of people waiting for Cyber Monday. I mean, we are price matching whatever our competitors were throwing on sale. So, and then you have to understand some of these brands now have their company websites where they throw Black Friday sales. So it's just kind of like highly competitive, but nonetheless, it was still pretty busy for me.
I did notice on my Nordstrom apps they did they were price matching for a lot of things. So I
Oh
was like, 'cause they
yeah,
had all the Mac stuff on sale, and I was
yeah.
tempted, but I was like, let
That's
me
the time to
just
get it when it's on sale. Like you can never get cosmetics, on sale. It's never one of those
yes,
things.
yes,
Same way I
yes.
felt with my makeup. I'm like, yes, let me get my makeup now because I never can get it on sale.
Yeah, I still missed it. I had it in my bag, but I never pulled the
Don't
trigger. I
worry
just
about it. It'll be back again.
okay,
You
okay,
just have to
good.
let me
Okay,
know.
good.
I'll be back to
Good, good,
remind
good.
you for that.
Hey, what's up, Daryl? Thanks for joining in. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna. I guess I'll show your last one. We are in the middle of Thursday night football, so if you guys want to multitask with us, watch the
right.
game, watch the show, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
Of course, you can always check out the replay over on our YouTube channel, that Girl Chat Sports. And yeah, so Thursday night football. I think the Cowboys were up right now. However, it's always my
I
issue
mean,
when
I
I
got
play
it
my
on right now. It's 13-7.
Cowboys fantasy football players, they always, seem to not do well. So I got Dak in and I put CD Lamb in. And of course, I forgot to put Amari in on my other team, and he's doing better than CD right
I know I
now.
got Amari on one of mine. I don't know if I made the. Yeah, I think I did take him off of
So,
my injury. Yes, and put him back in the roster. I had to because I had been sitting
man.
so long waiting on him to come back from IR that it was like finally this guy can play. This is I hope I can
Finally.
win.
And that's the other
So
thing. Fantasy football will be a whole other subject because there's continued to be more injuries. My guy Christian McCaffrey is back
done
on
for the
it,
season.
done for the season.
Whoever picked him
Like
up first in your first round draft pick,
I
I know you're
did.
kicking
I have
yourself.
him in one of my.
I
I
know
have
you're
him in
kicking
one of
yourself. I
my.
was speaking generally. I knew you probably would go
Just,
after him. That was one of the sought after
just
first
tragic.
choice.
Just
Yeah.
tragic.
Yeah. You got to watch it, look at the top of the class players now and just say, forget all that noise and just go for the
I
breakout
know.
players because
I
it's not working
know.
with the stars. And it's the same way with the basketball thing.
It's not.
You can't go off of having LeBron on fantasy and AD at the same time or any of those top notch players when they're not, injuries are happening and they're load managed. It's just never a good look. But
Yeah.
who would have
And
thought
then
that with Christian McCaffrey? Honestly, though, no one really would have thought that would have happened. I mean, that was kind of one of
twice in
those.
1 year? Come
Yeah, that's kind of like a football anomaly.
on.
That no one was expecting that.
Uh,
So
well, and
it
then the
wasn't
people
like it
that,
was a
or even
dumb
the
pick.
people, And the people that picked up Saquon, like he is back, but is he doing anything? Not really. So
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Anyways, I want to bring on our guest. So while I was out in the DMV, and the Delaware area, that's where I was at, as the Delaware, out in the ocean cities. I was able to join Jonathan, our guest, and his co-host on their podcast, the DC Tweet Team, because of course I had made my Thanksgiving plans for my mom and I around me going to the Seahawks and Washington football team game, because I bought those tickets way back in like May. So luckily it was dope. We had shout out to Clarence Tucker, who had introduced us and got us together, because he's out there in Washington as well. But anyways, without further ado, let's get Jonathan on. Jonathan, welcome to Girl Chat Sports. Thank you so much for staying up late with us tonight.
How y'all do this?
Yeah, I know, right? Get it started. I mean, it seemed like the perfect opportunity too, and I'm sorry that we couldn't have your co-host on too, because it was, he's unfortunately in a plane coming out here to, as I'm sure there's many DMV area people are coming out this way, because we'll address it as well, as how do you not want to come to Vegas and watch your team play at the new stadium and also be in Vegas? I mean, it's kind of like everything mixed into one party bubble right there.
Yeah, well, I mean, you either are going to go out and have an amazing time and see the team win, or you're going to go out and spend way too much money and then watch the team lose, and you have to fly home with all the same hangover that you have when you go to Vegas normally, except now you have the loss on your hands. So,
yeah,
I mean, I looked at the tickets because, I mean, a lot of my friends are going. I saw the team president was like, his whole flight was nothing but football team fans. So that was encouraging. But it used to be the tickets were stupid expensive, and then now it happens here too. It happens everywhere, right? As soon as the season gets underway and the team starts not doing so good, then you start seeing the prices back down. So, you come to FedEx Field, I'm sure your tickets are probably buy one get one free. Not quite the case there in Las Vegas. So.
Las Vegas tickets are high.
Yeah, they're expensive.
But they do go down closer to the game, I feel
closer to the game, but it's still not a down price that you would pay. You're still not paying $100, okay?
Yeah.
You're still at $200 and $300. So.
Yeah, you're gonna easily drop a grand to $2.
Yeah.
And which is fine if that's how you want to go out for the weekend, because you're also in Vegas.
Right.
Hey.
And it's an opportunity for a lot of these teams that are on the East Coast, the Midwest stuff, to get away from their weather, because we're hitting 70 degrees daytime here. So we're seeing more of that. I was at the Cincinnati game, and I was shocked to even see a few, the amount of Bengal fans that I saw, just because I knew what it was. It was like the weather.
I'm surprised.
And just so everybody knows too, I did find out from someone that did come in town for the game as well, because also tomorrow is the Pac-12 championship at the stadium for Friday, and then we also have the Raiders and Washington game on Sunday. Yeah. The pools are open this weekend. The pools are still open. It's going to be about 70 degrees. So if anybody's watching or is on their way and sees this, just know that you can still hit up the pool, get a couple extra, doses of vitamin D while you're out here.
73 degrees was cold out there. 73 degrees on Saturday. Just insane. And we're in December.
Yeah. And is your stadium a retractable top?
No, not at all. We do have the lanai doors that are supposed to open that face.
I don't think they've opened yet, have they?
They haven't opened them yet, because what the rules are, from what I understand, is you have to get 48 hours approval with the stadium to do the lanai doors. Then the wind plays a factor. If the speed of the wind is too much, or velocity of the wind is too much, they can't open the lanai. So the wind velocity has to be a certain amount. It's all these tangibles. Weather has to be a certain thing, and then approval. So
they want to make sure that COVID stays inside.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Well, supposed to be everybody's supposed to be vaccinated in the stadium, or first dosers, but it's still running, right?
Or there'll be Antonio Brown, Oh,
yeah.
Woo, we're going to get to that one too. We'll get to that one. But Jonathan, please give us a little rundown on the podcast DC Tweet Team, how you guys got started on it, and give us a little history on your, fandom for the Washington football team, formerly known as the Redskins.
Yeah. So look, I grew up in DC in the 80s and 90s. So they were hot then. And I totally get when, you're a kid growing up, whenever you discover sports, it seems to be like whatever the hot team is at the time, that's the one you kind of gravitate to. So, I mean, look, that was our dynasty, was, you know, the early 80s to the early 90s. And so discovering it as a, you know, kid coming of age, it all rang true with me. Look, this is my lucky, and it's proven lucky because it's got good energy. Our 3-win winning streak, I've worn John Riggins, number 44. So I decided, you know, you didn't stand a chance, unfortunately, because I did have this on Sunday night. Our Monday night. So, you know, but yeah, and then Maurice a few years ago started this thing called the DC Tweet Team, where just, you know, he wanted to connect fans that were, you know, like our fan base, because of being in 20 years of dreck, to put it politely, you know, there's not a lot of positives around the team. So he felt like, you know, let's be positive about, you know, certain players that we like, and you know, like, promote the good parts. Like, it's not all bad all the time. Like, nothing is truly all bad all the time, except for, you know, some things. But you know, so he started it and kind of looped a few of us in that were kind of active in the social space. When I had relocated to Charlotte in 2006, you know, Charlotte had been the Washington Redskins at the time had been the team of the South for years. And so, you know, the Carolina Panthers didn't come along till like 1987 or whatever. And so there was a lot of fans that were here, and this is a big relocation city. So then 2 years later, I started hosting watch parties, and just found a bar and started promoting it around, you know, as Facebook was just kind of starting at the time. So just kind of using power of social media. And so built a little following, and, you know, today now I have over, you know, 3,000 people online. And then we have about 100 or so come out every week and just hang, watch the game. We, you know, throw down a few drinks. You know, we sing whatever fight song there is, or whatever song we can think of, you know. You know, we usually don't know any of the words of it. You know, so I mean, a few weeks ago we were singing I Want It That Way, I think that by the Backstreet Boys. Like, I don't know what just came about. I was like, you know what, Backstreet Boys, let's go right now.
All right, let's on the jukebox. Let's hit it.
Yeah, let's go. So I mean, we just have fun, and there's a lot of groups like what I do for a lot of teams around the country. I love interacting with those guys. I love, like, it's a different thing. Like, if you live out of market, it's different. It gives you like an experience where you can connect in with local fans and kind of have a little bit more tie than is if you were sitting at home with your Sunday ticket in your basement or lounge or whatever. Mm-hmm. You know, like, you get that experience of everybody collectively, you know, winning together and losing together. And it just adds like a whole sense of camaraderie. And so when the team comes to town and plays, like, we host, you know, we just had a big fan rally with, you know, like 400 or 500 fans at our bar, including like a giant tailgate the next day. So, you know, it's good. It's good.
That's cool.
Well, I like that because, you know, now that my Seahawks are having like one of their first losing seasons, and
welcome to the club.
For what may, you know, I remember these days from before, but a lot of the, you know, post Super Bowl team fans don't remember those days. And we've had this issue with the Vegas Gold Knights out here, is that when your team that you're used to winning is struggling, everybody's like completely turns negative and wants the whole team demolished, and, you know, wants to forego the season. And I'm a realist. Like, I will always be a Seahawks fan. You're not going to see me wear any other team. It's been that way since I was young. But I'm still going to be critical, and I'm still going to complain, and I'm still going to vent. And, you know, that's just kind of, I think, how real fans are. Yeah. So, yeah. But we'll get into a little bit of some hot topics first before we get into those games. We wanted to start off with Antonio Brown, because I know this, I think, just kind of came out today, but there was news about a week or two ago. We had talked about in the show, Mo, about him possibly having a fake COVID vaccine card. That his former chef had reported that he had somehow managed to get one. It comes out that maybe he is vaxxed, but he had possibly use that fake vaccine card towards the start of the season or training camp. And so it got him into a little bit of trouble. And today he gets suspended for 3 games without pay. And I just want to kind of link this to, of course, Mr. Aaron Rodgers, who got to play against the Seahawks after he had been, it had come out that he hadn't been vaccinated yet and was walking around freely maskless for, on games and on the field and for press conferences. And he got a fine of what was that, $14,000?
Yep.
So, I mean, come on here. Really? Is this this is the state farm? This is a double check policy here? Is that what this is? Come on. Really? Aaron Rodgers, fine, no games. Antonio Brown, 3 games suspended, no pay for the same thing.
He was immunized, right?
Yeah, that's what great. That's what
makes the difference, right?
Rodgers was doing when he was look at my foot.
It's the same thing. Listen, you guys, we know who the stars are of this league, and we know who the money is to see who plays. This is the same difference with Isaiah Stewart getting 2 game suspension versus LeBron's 1 game when he should have gotten 2 as well. Should have been the same punishment on the same type of crime. We are in a thing now where if your stars are not playing on a game, that's sponsorships, that's revenue, that's money, that's all of that. That's what it is. And there is going to be a bias. And this is clearly one of those times that is a bias because the lead up was the whole narrative. Is Aaron going to play after? Is he going to play in that game, in that big game coming up? And he did. Yeah. And we knew it was going to happen because he's Aaron Rodgers.
Well, and to be fair, too, Antonio Brown wasn't supposed to play for these next couple weeks because of injury. So now he just officially can't play for 3. But it's still the same thing. But
is he paying a $14,000 fine too?
No, because he's losing 3. He's losing 3 games of pay.
But he doesn't have to pay But he doesn't have to pay the $14,000 fine, right?
I don't know. I don't
because
think that.
This is the thing is where you get into their CBA, if their collective bargaining agreement, and what the rules were in the condition of this happening. What are your options of punishment? Do you pay a fine, suspended 1 game, or you get suspended 3 games without pay? I don't know if that's a league decision, if that's a player's choice or whatever, but there are definitely biases in this thing when you're not technically the star or the headliner of big night football high rating games. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that was where that was kind of coming from on that. It's crazy, but I think that's pretty
definitely
much what that
crazy.
Was.
It is. You mentioned collective bargaining agreements. We've officially walked into the first Major League Baseball lockout since 1994 and 95. I didn't realize it got this bad.
It did.
I didn't realize that it was down to the wire and they were about to pull the plug until yesterday or the day before when I got back home and I started, actively looking at my updates and sports stuff that I had missed throughout the week and was like, wait a minute, what? So, what's crazy is, so now it's like a work stoppage. So if your team didn't pick up a free agent, they no longer can pick up any free agents now. It's it's a whole stoppage. They're not able to meet as teams. They're not able to work out together. I know we're off season, so they're hoping they can make some kind of change and get it figured out before the season starts so they can still have a regular spring training and still have a regular season. But they've had how long to try and work this out up until yesterday, and they still couldn't. So
and this happens just conveniently after the Mets acquire Max Scherzer for $130 million for 3 years. Yeah,
I don't want to talk about that.
I don't want to talk about it either. I'm a Dodgers fan and I'm upset. I'm
a Nats fan, and
and it's like, why? So
why?
But it's so convenient how all this happens. It's some weird stuff going on out here. I don't even want to get into it. So much stuff going on.
What I found funny, but also was I think great by the Major League Baseball players was that they started using the basic outline of a player for like their Twitter handles or their social media, because that's now what the MLB.com has to use because of the collective bargaining agreement. They can't use the same or display the same type of things they could before. So if you go on the MLB website, almost all player stuff has been scratched. They have a lot of generic like pictures of baseballs and bats and stuff like that. They can't use all the usual likenesses in their stories. So this is now what we're getting into. And so a lot of players have now changed their handles to these
Total
these
blackout.
shadows.
Total
The
blackout.
shadows.
Blackout boycott. Yeah.
It's wild.
It is wild.
It's wild.
Well, let's see. Following
what's
the
up?
94-95 season, that was the steroid era, right?
Yeah, and they
So,
actually had the
I guess
whole
we know what's
lockout,
next.
no World
Right.
Series, all that. So
Yeah.
shout out to Let the Ball Bounce. Our guy Donnell's in here. He's a Braves fan, so he wanted to say hello.
Of course he did. They just won a championship.
Of course he did. Of course
Yeah.
he did.
So nice.
Yeah.
Good for them.
But yeah, it's interesting. And then this also happens right after they had their news broke that they were using two different baseballs too. One that had a different weight and one that had a different buoyancy or some kind of like bounce to it, like without knowing.
Yeah.
that
Oh
game up.
man, baseball,
I love baseball. I love baseball.
Get it out.
I am excited though because before this went down, my Mariners did sign Robbie Ray. So we also and got the former All-Star Adam Frazier to the team. So the Mariners are making some off-season moves. And just letting you guys know, our drought of the playoffs may be over soon. Just letting
We'll see. That'll be good if it is.
Robbie
we'll see,
Pants is coming to Seattle.
Yeah.
So
We'll see. That'll make for interesting. We're losing people here. Corey Seager's gone. I mean, I'm in Dodger blue hell right now. I don't.
Sorry, Kente, for your Braves. Yeah, but at least you guys got that championship now. You can hold on to that for the lockout.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can watch the video of that bus going like 30 miles an hour, like hauling tail to try to get through Atlanta before the traffic hits.
No one's gonna say, "I just fly through. Go the speed limit, please."
Yeah, go. It was like watching Speed, the movie.
It was terrible. It was terrible. And what kind of took me by surprise too, to change a little topic to another one that came out, because here in Vegas, of course, with the home of UFC, and Mr. Dana White, of course, the president and CEO of UFC, tested positive. Him and his entire family tested positive after spending time for Thanksgiving in Maine. And which I didn't realize he's vaxxed. I guess you have to be vaxxed, because of UFC and how they handle their business. But he always struck me as an anti-vaxxer, I guess you could say. So
yeah, I didn't know his status on that, but I mean, it's happening that he get booster. I mean, it's not
the entire family.
The vaccine is not a cure.
No,
it's just.
And so he was, because there is a fight night this Saturday at the Apex here in Las Vegas. So he's talking about hopefully he gets a couple negative tests and that he's able to be there and be present. And they also have a UFC, I think 260, whichever one. It'll be at T-Mobile, I think in a week. I think it's next weekend in December, I think. So it's still out there, guys.
I mean, LeBron James has it. He's now expected to come back Friday is the new news if we get into NBA. Like LeBron James is COVID. He had to test.
Yeah, let's talk about that because
two negatives in 48 hours.
Right. So he tested negative or positive back on like 29th or something. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
But it was Thanksgiving.
He made this weird tweet that it was kind of fishy that he has on the health and protocols. And for a second, the way they made the news was making it sound was like he's going to have to quarantine for 10 days unless he tests negative for the two tests within 48 hours. But when they said the 10-day thing, it almost made me think, I wonder if LeBron has a fake vax too. I wonder if he was saying I'm vaxxed and to do whatever you guys want, but maybe he hadn't been. But I guess since he is scheduled to play for tomorrow, then I guess he is. I'll give him that. But
I would say check the cameras at the local Tractor Supply store. See if you see him walking out with horse paste. Then he's probably not.
But he was also in the news that I didn't realize he got fined for using some obscenities.
He grabbed his package and was kind of gesturing that, but it looks like he was just trying to adjust.
That's a normal Thursday.
Yeah, I mean the Lakers are what they are right now. I mean,
it's tough. Especially as you get older. It's just one of those things that happens.
But he gestured it in a way where it was a taunting gesture of the adjustment, so therefore he gets fined. Hey, listen, like I said, these Lakers, it is what it is. I'm not going into it as a competitive thing watching these guys. I'm seeing more telenovela, more action, more drama, and more comedy than anything watching this team. So therefore, that is another thing to add to the entertainment value of Showtime Lakers.
Yeah, Jonathan, we've come up with a new telenovela title of Los Jugadores Locos.
Yes.
I love
we
it.
can't. There's never enough space or time to talk about all the stories that are unfolding in regards to players all over the professional sports. I mean, football, basketball, baseball. It seems like everybody has their own issue, and it continues the entertainment value for us. And hey,
Yeah.
it gives us stuff to talk about, right? So
Yeah, exactly. There's no off season. The off season is just like who's in jail and who's gotten sick and who's
Yeah.
doing what.
I
And
mean, this year has been a year of reckoning. So everybody's kind of exposure to their lies, deceitfulness, or anything like that, as small as it may be or as big as it be, it comes to light for some odd reason this year. It's like you try to go against COVID, disrespect COVID. We're going to hit you with COVID. Like we're going to catch you in your lie. Like it's just
Sweep
kind
the
of that
lung.
kind of situation. Yeah. Just kind of that's that thing. So we're seeing it very prevalent in sports. And what I find very interesting in sports is that we're starting off early seasons and mid seasons of injuries of younger players. And it's just not making any sense. I'm starting to question now, what is it in our diet, our food, or something that is making these ACLs so common as an injury and all kinds of things. So I just don't know what's going on. It's just so
Bigger,
or the
stronger.
abdominal strains. Like how many abdominal strains?
Like,
Why do they keep you out for 10 days, 12 days? I don't get, Dame Lillard has now the abdominal strain.
yes, he's out.
We had LeBron had one.
Yeah.
And let's not even get into Zion because we've been on Zion watch. It seems like since he got drafted, and he hasn't played at all this season. He had been approved for practice, I think, earlier on in November, and then now to come to find out he's being held back again because of soreness. Are we adjusting his weight and diet yet? Like, has anybody factored in the amount of weight this man's carrying around, and if that's factoring into his health and being able to play at the level that professional sports needs to? I don't know. I've seen pictures of him. I'm just wondering, like, are you training as well, or are you just sitting down and grubbing with the high carbohydrate?
I can say the same thing about James Harden. He's packed on again pounds as well. Not as much as Zion to that effect, but the Zion thing kind of makes me mad because I feel like you're taking money from this league, and I don't know if it wasn't in the terms of his contract to stay physically active or fit to be ready for game time. But the guy is like over 300 pounds now. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And he seems to be very injury prone ever since summer league with that shoe mishap and his ankle twisting. So I don't know what's going on with this kid. And it's just, I don't know if it's going to take a franchise move or whatever to get something out of him. But what he's doing in New Orleans right now is just so detrimental to them.
They should have drafted Perry Ellis. That guy played 43 years in college, never got hurt. So, I mean, why in the world do you let him go play over in Europe? They should have drafted. He was the guy to go.
Right. Don Osman, he's just fat. That's why they're keeping him out. They don't want to put nothing else on.
No, he's swole.
He's definitely fat. But the thing of it
that
is,
New Orleans, and I will speak on this. The food in New Orleans, like everything's fried.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's like there's no way you could possibly live there and not gain weight. I mean, it's physically impossible.
I gained a freshman 20 being down there, not freshman 15, freshman 20, freshman 30, eating all those shrimp po' boys and catfish and seafood and all that stuff. I understand all that, but I'm not also getting paid tons of money to be physically fit in the same mix and be ready for game time too.
I mean, he's getting all that money just sitting around eating.
Is Jamarcus Russell in the team? He literally is Jamarcus Russell in the team. You're not showing up to play for these games because you've chosen to gain weight. I just don't understand it right now. Like, it's
just like being thick.
Yeah.
Yeah. You say he looks like a D tackle. Listen, I wouldn't mind him. He might as well come to the Seahawks offensive line. Like, really, I feel like he could be an O-line at this point. Like, come on, let's do it.
You guys need holy water, miracles, and prayers. That even with Zion, it's not going to help you guys. I'm sorry. It's just,
but
it's a nice try. You can put him somewhere where he knows he can go a little further this season.
Yeah. He needs to do something.
He does.
And Kente mentions that, I'm excited Klay Thompson's coming back before Christmas. It's like an early Christmas gift for all those Warrior fans or just NBA fans who, I mean, the Warriors have been doing great minus, I think, their recent loss.
Yeah, but they play Phoenix tomorrow. It's another back-to-back hitter, and sometimes Steph's on and sometimes Steph's not. But they're definitely both teams that are contentions for the West for sure. And, I mean, you cannot – the attributing factor to this Golden State Warriors team is their bench is deep. They also have a great 3-ball game, and all their kids are young, super young. And
they all work together as a cohesive unit.
Gary Payton, the second. I mean, you don't even have James Wiseman back, and you're still doing all this out of control stuff. Not to mention you still have Draymond Green, who's really aesthetically a good kind of leader, if you will, for that team to motivate those guys and be a awesome defender for them too. But I mean, they got young Tito's on there that are just balling. Man. And if what Steph can't do, they try to finish, you know, and if they fall a little short.
And for the most part, they do pretty good at doing that.
They do very good. There was a game where Steph didn't even play at all and they won. I mean, and I don't know if we can say, okay, it's Kerr is now becoming a better coach and coaching better in this situation, but I have to say he's kind of doing a little bit better coaching.
Yeah, because you were riding him pretty hard last week.
I had to. He would never rotate the players and he never put in bench players, but now his bench players are top-notch players. Like he doesn't have a bad guy on the roster whatsoever. I mean, there's still a few that could be, you know, stepping it up a little bit, but it doesn't. I mean, Jordan Poole, like I said, who is this guy? Yeah. Who is this guy? Like he's really, really balling out of control.
Jonathan, are you a Wizards fan, or I mean, I don't know if you're all encompassing of the DC sports or just pick and choose here and there.
I mean, I follow the Wizards and the Hornets, but I don't really get serious until call me in February.
Yeah,
like this time of year, it's just like you never know what you're gonna get.
Super Bowl, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's when it starts getting serious. Like, you know, it's kind of like seeing it with hockey. It's like, okay, call me in March, and then I'll be there and I'll be into it. But get me through football. Like I can only handle really about one sport.
I thought that's what you were about to say. A lot of people can't do the whole. I can't watch all of these.
That's me.
I got to focus on one. You know, so I get
it. It's tough.
But you got football and you got basketball. It's like, for me, that's like the ultimate. I'm on 6 fantasy leagues because of it.
Starts and it's like, ooh.
Oh, and that's big out there, huh? Yeah.
It's unfortunately it's becoming a lot less. You know, it's it's just
it took away the Confederate flags and all the fans.
It's everybody got upset. Yeah. It's fun though. If you've never been, I always tell people like, if you've never been, go, because it's the best people watching you've ever seen in your life.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I went to one out here in Las Vegas when I just moved here. And I literally remember, and I feel that this holds true to this day, is that I feel like their fans may save their money for like the entire year just to come blow it all at NASCAR. Like, I couldn't believe the amount of money.
Gotta have
and the people I was seeing. Yeah. Miss a tooth or two. You know, that's always part of the package. And and they go hard for NASCAR, but whew.
Yeah, I would I would always say that the tracks you have to go to would be Charlotte's good. Charlotte's awesome. But definitely go to Darlington, South Carolina, because the track is the tallest thing in about 100 miles. So it's a lot different world down there. And then if you ever go to like Martinsville or whatever, or Bristol, I'm sure I've been around. I've got friends in the sport, so it's kind of like interesting to kind of see like a professional perspective of it. But no, the people watching is the best. So you get to some of the other ones, get some of like the Saturday races or something like that, where it's like you have to be like a real fan to kind of like really get into it. And you go like, these guys are really more into it than I am. But yeah, there's they've been sniffing gasoline and methanol a lot. There's not much left going on.
Oh man. So let's get into a little bit of football, okay? I will play. First of all, I've been telling everybody for the long life of me, when I knew I was coming to the Washington football game, I was like, I just want to see the live band, because the live band is the only one in all the stadiums. And it wasn't until I came on your guys' show and you're like, there is no band. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Nope.
How come everybody I know has not told me that there is? Like, yeah, there's no band. Pretty much got done away.
Because only 1,000 people ever go to the game, so it's not like they would ever know.
But I mean, I was just like, how is it that nobody I know could have said, Mel, there's no more live band. So literally, there's a drum line.
We didn't know last season, because last year was a COVID year, so they only had they had very few people that they were ever allowed. Like towards the end of the season, they let a few fans in. But we didn't know what was going to come back, because you think like all of the we're not going to be called anything anymore, and then we're going to get rid of the band, and then we're going to get rid of the cheerleaders. Like all that happened like in July of 2019.
Mhm.
So all of that happened kind of after the season, and then the next season started and it was COVID. So we didn't have really a season that we would know what this all looked like. So this is the first time people are really kind of seeing it for themselves.
Gotcha.
And so yeah, I'm disappointed. We are, for years, like the team would always, when they supported the folks that kind of do like what I do, they would like in their little things we expect. It'd be like, play the fight song and all the other things, right? And so, like, even we were sitting at home in 2020 season, we're sitting there going, like, what do we do for touchdowns? Like, do we yell? Do we come up with a chant? And we've tried things, and it just nothing works. And I think, like, at the stadium, you probably heard, like, when they do first downs, they play like the Super Mario Power Up sound. And that just sounds goofy.
Yeah.
But
I have a quick clip of the drum line because I had to record it because I'm like, I came all this way. I wanted to see a band. I guess I'll watch the like 8-person drum lines. Literally, there was like 8 people, maybe.
Wow, that is. They seriously should go over to Howard University and go get their drum line and bring it out. Like Bowie State, go get Bowie State. All the HBCUs that are right around there.
Bowie State's band was there too because Wale was performing and they were playing while Wale performed. Again, another letdown because Wale was there and played like one song, which you couldn't even really understand or hear. I mean, I knew what song it was, but it was like, that's it. Like that was it? Dang.
Well, see, here's the thing. You have now had the perfect experience of why nobody goes to games at FedEx Field. At least you did not get sewage dumped on you.
No.
And though there was, I guess, a sprinkler went off during the game in one of the suites. And so it did rain down. And so they had to send out immediate alert. Like, this is not sewage. This is from because earlier in the season, that's what happened.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's a miserable stadium. It's a miserable stadium. It's a very bad experience.
There was terrible traffic to get in there. First of all, I didn't realize. I mean, it is FedEx is almost like on a little hill. It seems like because it's a circle and you kind of got to take like one of 2 lanes in and one of the 3 lanes is blocked off. But yet your Apple Maps, your Waze, they're all leading you down the same street, which is blocked. So now everybody's turning around. Then you get on the right street, and it literally is like a parking lot trying to get in because now they're checking everybody's app to make sure you got parking.
Yeah,
finally get there and there was
in parking.
I had prepaid for that, so that was okay. I just couldn't believe that the game's at 8:15. We're coming in at 7:45 because we drove from Delaware, and it was still a pack of people trying to get in. I'm like, don't you guys come early for games or no?
Well,
not
so
really?
the problem is DC has the Metro, and you would think, okay, hey, a big event with thousands of people. Metro decided to close early. So they alerted everybody that they just don't want to, like, they're tired. It needs to rest at night. And so everybody had to drive. And I remember when that stadium was built because I went to school not that far from there. And really that thing is like King Turd on Poop Island. I mean, it's just and what's sad is like the people that are now in charge of it are trying their very best to give a good experience. But for the last 20 years, it's been old beer and used airline or secondhand airline peanuts that they handed out to people. And like, I think it was earlier in the season, they ran out of beer at one point. Like,
yeah, that's not good.
This? And so
I didn't eat there, but I did have a beer.
You don't want to do that. You're taking your life in your hands. But I think and that's why I think a lot of fans have decided, like I've heard from a lot of season ticket holders who've said, you know what, I've had enough. I will go to y'all. I'll come out there. It's an experience. Go out to Vegas. Come down here. Like we're 6 hours away.
Yeah.
And so it makes, and they flooded Atlanta when they played and Washington played the Falcons earlier in the season. So, I think
I
they
mean, it
just decided
did.
the
We
fan base
were
is just-
coming from the parking lot, and it had this nice. I know, isn't that pretty? Shout out to my new iPhone 13, which Pro, that really captured the moment well. But this made it look nice as we're walking in because we're a little late. The guys are running out. Here's all the fireworks going off, so that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. The inside, I mean, Mo knows me. If I'm buying tickets anywhere, I get a ticket, but I'm actively searching for the tickets that haven't sold yet in better areas because I'll stalk them and see if they've sold before the game starts or when the game's already started, and I'll sit there. So those are the seats that I decided to sit at for the game, and it worked out well. It was pretty much open, and you can't beat that. Can't beat it. It was good times. Good times. Needless to say, the game was What's funny is, didn't I say the final score would be 17-14, but Seattle would win? The final score was 17-15, and of course we lost. So I was close, just not in the right order.
Yeah, but look, Logan Thomas had a touchdown. We can all agree on that.
Yes.
And the refs gave him, gave it away. So it should have been a higher score. And the game plan it seems like their new game plan is just get a little bit of a lead and wear out your defense by running the ball, which is absolutely boring to watch unless you're into smash mouth football, but it works.
Yeah.
And so it was cool to see. We were all nervous. We're watching the game, especially when the field goal got ran back.
Oh
for
yeah,
2.
the field goal was taken back for the 2-point.
When does that ever happen?
And the guy, and it was like this guy was huge and literally ran it back like 80 yards. So that was amazing. It got down to the wire in typical Russell Wilson fashion. We're down 17-9. We score a touchdown. We miss 2-point conversion. We're going for the onside kick, and it works. But of course, one of the players is off, and we lose that. So
it was wild. It was wild. And now, of course, they're saying that, now Russ. Oh, you're in win now mode, right? So you got Adrian Peterson. So that's good. We
should have got him 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago before he signed with the Titans. We needed him then. I mean, granted, we still need him now, but hey,
he's like, what, 41?
Yeah, but he still loves the game and he still wants to play.
He needs to get
and
paid.
At this point, we have no other options. What else can we do? We're on our third, fourth string running back. We won't be getting the other ones back for a while. We've got to have some kind of options because right now Russell still isn't throwing well. I mean, he had a great touchdown.
No, he had a great game. That was his best game he had.
Well, that was the best game. But that's not saying much.
Ciara helped him with the hand.
No.
Dude's still injured. Still injured.
And I almost feel like, is he playing this badly just because he wants to leave now? All of a sudden.
To go to the Eagles?
I don't know if he wants to play badly on purpose like that.
Not badly, but to cause the commotion. Because of course, the first thing you hear on the news, the sports world news on Tuesday is, oh, where's Russell going to go? New York Giants. Is he going to go here? Ciara loves New York. She'd want to be there too. And it's just why are we talking about this now? We're still in the middle of the season.
Because it's media talk, that.
Of
that's
course.
That's
why I'm just
season's over though, for real. Honestly, you guys.
What's funny is though, the season is not over because look at if the 0-10 Lions still have a chance to make the playoffs
because of their division. Yo, come on, stop it.
But look, granted, it's not going to happen, but this is what would need to happen for the next 6 weeks. The Lions, who are 0-10-1, to make the playoffs.
Well, I don't see any of that happening.
I don't either.
But I mean, no, that's not happening.
You guys, this is the reality. Your franchise paid Russell Wilson way too much money to not allocate those monies to other players. This is what it looks like.
He's not restructuring it.
And they're not restructuring. And this is what it's looking like. And sadly, in the NFC West, you guys look horrible. And you're horrible. I hate to say it like that, but that's the reality of what it is.
I wear black in mourning. That's what I do now. I wear my black.
It's unfortunate because I was expecting an exciting division coming out of all of you guys, And for this to happen, it was because the man got way too much money. You invested in the player and not in the team.
And then we've got 7 injuries. Like for
and
last
then you got
game,
injuries. And then Chris Carson, when's he coming? Like literally,
he's out for the season.
Out. Yeah,
we had a starting budding rookie cornerback, and he gets injured. And then Rashad Penny, who we drafted 2-3 years ago, first round. Anyway. We haven't really seen him for more than a game or two.
Yeah, he's not really that great anyway. I don't think
that's why you don't draft
running
backs in the first round.
But hey, Jamal Adams got his second interception of the year that we paid him how much money for? And we gave up 2 of our first round draft picks back to back.
It's a calamity over there. It's a sad calamity, and I wasn't expecting that or seeing that coming. And it's just unfortunate because I know how those calamities happen because I'm a Raiders fan, but I've never seen anything like what you got going on.
Speaking of your Raiders, you got the Washington football team coming this Sunday. You guys are coming off a great win over the Cowboys at Jerry's house. Congratulations on that one. I'm sure even Jonathan can congratulate you on that one for sure.
Thank you.
What do we have
so badly?
Yeah. What do we have to expect for this Sunday?
I expect us to win, even though the sportsbook only has us by -1 on this, which is very odd numbers. I don't understand where that's going. But we were expecting to win off of Washington. At least I personally was, because I said, that's great. I said, if Washington can beat the Seahawks, then we know we can go in with a strong chance of winning. If they lose to the Seahawks, then that's where I feel like we're going to have a problem, because it's going to be a revenge game and they're going to pull out all stops as possible, as best as possible that they have. With that being said, Derek Carr had another press conference today. Rick Bisaccia had another press conference today. We're looking good. I think the thing of it is we have to strategize a little bit better offensively, not have a predictable plays, because that's what was happening in the Cowboys territory. We had predictable plays and crazy outcomes, and we can't have these predictable offensive plays anymore. Carr's got to really, and I'm liking now that the fact that they're starting to use Mariota. I want them to utilize him earlier. I would hope to see that coming as a future. None of the press members were going to ask Carr if Mariota was going to play in this game or not. It's probably more likely going to be a surprise kind of tactic.
But what about the defense, though, too? Because you guys did win, but you also gave up 33 points to Dallas.
Well, we gave up 33 points on a punt return that came back. Like, did you see that? Like, that was crazy. And our defense kind of had a lot of holes in different, and we're down a lot of players in our defense. Our defense line is breaking down because we've been playing these games where we're 3 and out, and having defense on the line way too long in the game, and now it's causing these injuries. But I think with what they're trying to structure and our new defensive growth, not new, but our defensive coordinator that we have that's getting a little bit more proactive with it, I think offensively playing this team will be on the field a lot longer than having to see defense really have to show up to do long plays in this whole game. I think offensively we can run the ball against the Washington defense team. Even though you guys are 5-6, I mean, I'm hoping for the best. I'm wanting Carr to go long. I'm looking at Jonathan's face. I'm like, sure, Mo. But this is why I have to hold on to my Raiders rosary, because this is what we want. This is what we're looking for this game. And I'm going to the game this Sunday. Thanks, Dad.
Oh, good.
And so I will hopefully be not 0-2 for the games I've attended. I want to win on this game. I'm going to have to change something in my wardrobe to make it
leave
work.
at halftime or something.
I don't know what I'm going to have to do, but I'm 0-2 in these home games. I can't keep going to the home games and seeing us lose to the Bears, lose to the Bengals.
I'll buy your drinks for the day if that's the case.
Look, you're going to the game, have 0-2. He's wearing the jersey, his winning jersey.
Listen,
I don't know.
I'm like, oh my God, this is not good. So hopefully this will break my streak. I want to be 1-2 at these games. But in all seriousness, no, you're right. The defense really is going to have to step up this game. And then like I said, offensively, we can't be predictable. And it's good that we're seeing Deshaun Jackson get utilized, and he's actually playing a lot better. And the roster and the cobwebs are kind of dusted off of his shakiness on his first appearance, that he's actually stepping up, and other people in the line like Hunter Renfrow. Like we need to see more from him as well. And we need that target for Waller to be there when Carr is throwing the ball. And sometimes he's open. Like I need Carr to read the field a lot better to have his options and not keep going with a straight type of little run game with Josh Jacobs, who's not really gaining too many yards. I don't know how he's looking on fantasy, but he's very disappointing this season. He's just getting a lot of defensive stops. He's not able to run the ball like we saw his first breakout season. So it's just going to be interesting how that all plays
Jonathan,
out. But I'm wanting my Raiders to win.
Team.
What's that?
What about Jonathan? What do you foresee for your team, or what are some struggles you see maybe happening, or what do you see is going to be kind of like what are you forecasting for this game?
So, this is in that stretch of games where Washington, for lack of a better term, kind of always gets screwed in the schedule. It happens every year. So Thanksgiving, the Raiders and Cowboys play. The Cowboys are now playing tonight. The Cowboys will then play Washington in 10 days. Mm-hmm. And then, so they get like a mini bye. And then we play the Eagles after their bye week, which is somehow in December. I don't understand how any of this. They all looked at the schedule and said, "Yeah, this works." So we played Monday night, hard fought game, and so look, the Raiders. It's one of these games where I'm a pessimistic sports fan. I don't never think my team's ever going to win every week, because I don't know. I've watched almost 40 years of this now, and so unless we're talking back like in 82 through 91, there's a good chance that we're not going to do very well. However, I think where the Raiders having the 32nd worst defense, rush defense, I think helps, because that's what Ron's going to do. It's going to be a rushing attack. Now we may not have McKissick. He had a concussion towards the end, so.
Good luck then, geez, because he really, he was targeting us like nobody's business.
Yeah, no, and so we've got some McKissick light that can come in here and play, but that's going to be huge. Eric Flowers completely dominated Bobby Wagner. Every single one of the plays that was the wrong play. Like, I don't know whether those two have beef, but he wore that man out. And so Eric Flowers, of course, was a... remember the Giants drafted him in the first round. He was a complete bust. Like, he let everybody tackle everyone. He comes over to us, plays amazing, goes down to the Dolphins. The Dolphins, he does nothing for them. Comes back. The Dolphins are actually still paying him, and he's playing like an all-star. So I hope the guy, this is a Pro Bowl guard now. So thank you, Dolphins. I appreciate it. On defense, look, you don't have to contend with Chase Young or Montez Sweat. Sweat will be back, hopefully, for the Cowboys. But the guys that are stepping in his place, James Smith-Williams and Shaka Toney, they are playing within their skill set, right? Like, they don't have the speed and the size that Sweat and Young have, so they have to only play by the game plan. What you do have, though, are the monsters of John Allen, Deron Payne, and then when they get tired, Matt Ioannidis and Tim Settle. And those two, as Mel saw firsthand, can wreck your stuff. So if your offensive line isn't ready for them, you prepare for a long night of Derek Carr looking more like the Wet Bandits than Derek Carr.
Oh, my God, if you can get to him.
So here's the thing. Deshaun Jackson, the most touchdowns he's ever scored in his career have been against Washington. Of course, he played with the Falcons for a long time. The Eagles. And then he played with us for a hot minute. Embarrassingly, there was a time when we got Donovan McNabb. We thought trading for Donovan McNabb was a good idea. This was Bruce Allen, who the reason why you guys don't have a coach anymore,
right?
Bruce Allen traded for Donovan McNabb. Donovan McNabb and D-Jax are still very close. D-Jax tells McNabb before the game, first play of the game, I'm going to go deep, and you can't stop me. And sure enough, first play of the game, 70-yard bomb, touchdown. So it's frustrating.
This may be his game to show up again.
I hope not. Look, Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah.
Look, you can't be living in the South and not be a fan of college football. And even though Clemson's was really big, and so we saw Hunter Renfrow play. He was one of the guys I thought Washington should have targeted if he was available in the draft, because I thought he was a good wide receiver, and it turns out he is. Yes. So I think he in the slot. That's where we've had to we've changed our game plan. If you had played us back in September, October, you would have had Kendall Fuller playing on the inside, William Jackson struggling on the outside, and a rookie Benjamin St. Juice playing on the other side. BSJ, unfortunately, has got concussed. Surprise. And so now he's on IR. Kendall Fuller's pushed back to the outside. William Jackson III discovered how to cover people again. And so now you have Danny Johnson, who I think played at Virginia Tech, was like an undrafted guy, but all of a sudden shows up in like November and December and plays his heart out. That's going to be your slot receiver going up against him. So it'll be a good matchup.
It will.
And then we'll see what happens with Landon Collins. He's been playing a Buffalo nickel position. So you're having 3 safeties on the field. The one you got to be concerned about is if you see Cam Curl, because he is having himself a season. He was in on every single one of there was the one play. Let's see. There was the one touchdown that Russell threw. It was like the long bomb, like 40 yards or something like that.
Tyler.
Yeah. And so that was what we've seen all season, where Bobby McCain and Cam Curl or Landon Collins were just out of position, just not communicating. So it's possible for y'all to win. And it's just one where I think, honestly, Washington doesn't need to win this one. If we get to 10 wins, I think we handle our business. We probably win the division.
Yeah.
It matters more to win, because our next 4 are after y'all. It's not to step over you, but but I mean, we have to play the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Giants, and the Eagles again, or the Giants again. It doesn't matter. We have to play a bunch of people. Our division, like back to back to back to back to back. So that's what we've got. But I would, if you're playing for fantasy. My fantasy, if you're picking somebody, I'd go for Gibson. I think because your rush defense is horrendous, Gibson could have one of those days. Like, he was standing people up, and then you'd send in, and you saw it. Yeah. You saw poor Pete Carroll fell down when one of them came over near him. Like,
did he really? See, I must have missed
he
that.
Just,
might have been.
But anyway, I would go for Gibson.
Around me.
Yeah.
He's ready for that game. He's ready for one of those where you see the speed, you see the size. Hopefully he keeps the ball under control. If he does, he'll have a good day. And you probably have Jarrett Patterson, who's an undrafted guy that from PG County, but played up in Buffalo, and like one of these like random players that had one of these games where he rushed for like 9,000 yards in a game or something like that. Like something where it's like physically impossible, but yet he did it. And now he was an undrafted player, worked his way up ranks. He could see a lot of playing time without McKissick.
And not for nothing, Deshaun Jackson didn't practice today. He's still got a calf strain.
Yeah.
So, but they did not say he's not going to be able to play on Sunday.
He'll find a way.
He's going to find a way. And then we still have ankle injuries with Josh Jacobs. He's still, in that he's limited.
The Giants?
That was with the Cowboys game.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was the Cowboys game. So he messed up his ankle in that Cowboys game, Thanksgiving game. So he's limited right now on any type of practice or anything. So we may not expect him. They haven't made a decision on game time yet if he's going to play on Sunday. But yeah, to your point, we are pretty bad as far as our ranking in the defense when we started off the season last year being one of the top defensive teams. And now it's one of those things where we're just, it's anybody's game. The line is -1. I mean,
it's wild.
That is the wildest I've ever seen. I would not touch this game on any ticket. If you paid me, I mean, I literally would not touch this game on this ticket because it could go either way. I just don't know.
If you can buy, maybe if you can buy some points or something, get different. Get the
alternate prop bet going.
I don't even know because I can't even call what the final score on this game would be. I don't see it being a high scoring game.
As Mel got to see firsthand on Monday, you will get to witness what is by far the living legend, Taylor Heineke. So make sure, the guy is slippery. He plays like, look, he was in the XFL for the St. Louis Battlehawks, and the only notable play he ever did was a gif of him drinking beers in the locker room after a big win. He shows up in Washington and it looks like Steve Young. So the fact that the team seems to rally around him, and he has now discovered he's got Logan Thomas back, the tight end who emerged last season as a real target. Terry McLaurin is quietly having 1,000-yard season, only because nobody pays attention to Terry McLaurin. So it's one of those things where the weapons are starting to form around him, and now the game's slowing down for him because it's only really his was it week 12 or whatever. So he played a playoff game against Tom Brady, and then he's played all season. So that's it. I mean, that's all his.
Well, and it's like no one
is.
has ever seen any. No one's ever seen any tape on him because it's like nobody knows what's happening with him. He just seems to make these passes out of thin air or make moves that nobody's ever seen before, and they don't know what to do about it, and it just happens. It's like poof.
He's gotten really good at avoiding sacks, which is just incredible. But he's only 6 foot tall. He doesn't have a strong arm. He can run a little bit. But I think there's tape out there now for him. Okay, I think it's one of those where people are starting to it's coming together for him. Earlier in the season, he didn't have the anticipation and everything like that down. So he was, he had a few games where he was just, the numbers were terrible. But it's there. It's there. So now you kind of see we don't know what the ceiling is. He could be Mariota like Mariota.
One question I had for you before we finish talking about the Washington football team is the news came out that RG3 is going to be writing a tell-all book about his time with Washington, of course. And I'm curious to know what exactly do you think could be in this tell-all by Mr. Robert Griffin III?
Brittle Bob Three Sticks is an interesting figure in Washington lore because if you recall back in September when Ryan Fitzpatrick went down 7 minutes into the first game of the season, Bob was on his Instagram saying, make the call. So he was already petitioning as of just 2 months ago that he wanted to come play for this team. They, of course, said, we're good because we've already been down the Bob road. And we know a lot about what's happened with him. I personally will wait for the 30 for 30. Instead, I want to see, because Washington in that same draft, they didn't the owner wanted Robert, right? And he traded away a whole bunch of draft picks, and Shanahan wanted Kirk Cousins. And and we should have gotten Russell Wilson. I mean, Russell was there for the taking. That would have been the pick. You don't give away a whole draft, but whatever. Maybe nobody knew that, it's easy to look back now, right? So he's of course gonna, maybe he says the book's done, but he's gonna wait till August. So maybe he's looking for a payout. He did the part that I think was kind of interesting is he of course made his little video with his little logos and his little hat. And he referenced that there was sexual harassment, hidden sexual harassment was the term he used. And it caught a lot of people by surprise because unfortunately this organization has had a dreadful history, recent history with the prior regime, minus the owner, with sexual harassment. All those people are gone except for the owner. They've all come in and cleared house, and they've changed the way the organizations happen. So it's night and day. So the fact you're going to have a payday now, that you're going to try to tell these stories now, it's kind of like, I don't know who you're damaging. What's interesting is because it looked like that he was trying to profit off of other people's misery because he added that. And then a few of the women who were in, there was 19 women who have come forward and said that there was issues. A few of them went right to Bob's little tweet and said, what are you doing? Why would you say this? And, are you really, are you this much of a dirtbag? And so his new wife, because remember he was drafted, he was married once. Then he slid into the DMs of a Hooters waitress.
The typical NFL,
right. I mean, you're a celebrity in a big market. You can do no harm. And then now, the new girl who is a college student when he was still married with the other one and he had her tattoo. So Bob's confusing, but he's now kind of, it almost is like he's alluding to that he was the victim of sexual harassment. And, which, okay. I'm sorry. because if you are,
which we know is possible. I mean,
absolutely
men
possible.
can be
Yeah,
victims of sexual
absolutely.
harassment. Let's not put that off the plate.
look,
But
But
I'm just thinking about all of this and how it encompasses. Is there going to be more revelation to these emails then? Is it going to involve Bob as part of something in that? And that's what he's whistleblowing before it happens. I mean, I don't know.
It
That's why
could
I
be.
said,
I kind of wonder, like, is it going to be like a Jerry Falwell situation? You know, like where
Yeah.
he had like his wife was having an affair, but it was like all cool, but like, oh, we're also buying this stuff for this guy to keep him quiet. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
but I also, really care less. I think a lot of fans are just kind of over him because he's kind of just been that guy that is fighting for relevance.
yeah. Well, hey, I just had to get your take because I found that interesting that all of a sudden, now that this whole turmoil with the Washington football team and the allegations, and of course the emails, of course, only the ones that John Gruden sent have come out,
Right.
but just out of 600 something thousand emails, only John Gruden's got released. That now, of course, you got RG3 trying to have a tell-all.
And he could easily be backing off of that just for profitizing and like you said, getting clout and trying to be relevant again.
He's a dirtbag.
Mhm.
I mean, like,
he can talk about Rob Parker and why he got suspended and when Rob Parker, that whole thing, if you wanted to. But I don't know. Like,
I think it's one of those things. Like, Rob always kind of struck me as being somebody who's like a little bit too slick. And that can be kind of dangerous. Like he's trying to button up his brand, but then, of being like this kind of guy that's like ultra religious and, real positive and, whatever. But then also at the same time, like he's doing all this other horrible stuff over here on the side so it's just like the two are incongruous of each other. And I kind of think like he probably sees himself as a guy that has to pay $30,000 a month in child support, is not going to get another payday. No NFL teams calling. Mike Glennon is going to be starting here in New York, right? Yeah, Mike Glennon.
Yeah,
because Daniel Jones runs with his head first.
Former Raider, third string quarterback. Never got touched on the field. Never got to taste the field.
So, I mean, I think to me, it's like I need one last payday because, as a lot of these guys do, they live a lifestyle. And then as soon as the career's over and the money's not there, you have to come down to average Joe salary.
Yeah.
It gets real fast. And, I think that's probably more the impetus behind it because legitimate people that have experienced assault or, harassment or whatever, they don't try to profit off of it by having a book and only saying, well, I'll wait till the book comes out. Like, that's not how any of this works.
No. I'm with you on watching the 30 for 30. I don't think I have the time or the
I want to see the Kirk Cousins.
I'd rather
all of it.
Into that.
All of
I have
it.
to sit in a page turner of RG3 for sure.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a page turner.
Let me move on a little bit. Now, Jonathan, we clearly are over an hour because that's just something that me and Mo do lately. You're welcome to stick on.
I'm already
We're going to go through some sneakers and then we'll get into some picks. I did want to just mention real quick for our girl power. We do a girl power shout out every episode. And this week, Puma now has a women's basketball line for women's hoops, the High Court Collective, which of course has one of Las Vegas Aces' own Jackie Young, Katie Lou Samuelson, Skylar Diggins, as well as Brianna Stewart. These designs are from June Ambrose, who's also a creative director for Puma, and it's about life is sport. And I saw this picture and was like, sick. Like, I mean, let's get women's sports gear out in all of them. I mean, we see it with Nike, we see it with Adidas, but it's great that they've moved it on over to Puma as well. So we might be seeing that at Costco soon too.
No, I hope not. God, that's
Costco sells everything Puma. Like for some reason, I feel like not. Puma and Fila are all up in Costco.
Yeah, I hope not. I hope it gets the notoriety it does. It's not deserving of a Costco for sure.
Yes,
that's rude.
To start off the sneakers though, Mo, I want you to give us a little talk about Virgil here as well as
Virgil.
Yeah.
Yeah, Virgil Abloh, DJ, fashion designer, artist.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you say?
And he's been suffering from cancer and dealing with cancer for X amount of years, and no one, I don't think, really knew or publicly knew. Maybe it wasn't a big public announcement. So he had passed, and of course, he brings us some of these great sneakers that we've seen in collaboration.
Yeah,
as well as
these sales, Jordan 5s. I mean, and one thing about Virgil's shoes, especially if you knew him personally or you actually got a personal shoe, you could always request him to write something on the sole of the shoe or the side of the shoe.
oh
It could be a
wow.
brick, like shout out to Griselda rap group and rapper West Side Gunna, who has a lyric that reads bricks. Virgil writes about bricks on my brick, and he literally wrote bricks on a brick, for him. So it's just kind of like that kind of thing of who Virgil was, to be the first African American artistic director of a men's division of a house of Louis Vuitton
Yes.
that has been a fashion house since the 1800s, is a huge monumental kind of coup for someone to get,
And a
and
great
to
loss
not
for the
only
fashion
to
industry.
yeah, especially in the fashion industry, and for him, he was very smart and innovative with that whole thing, because he sadly, before, and not us not knowing that he was passing away, the house had offered to buy his name and he refused to do so, which makes sense,
Wow.
because if you do sell your name to that house, they have creative control over everything. Donna Karen is suffering through that to this day, because everything DKNY, she cannot sign off and agree or disagree. They can put out anything because she gave them the rights to her name. And he educated people with that if you do have the skills and the talent to get to that type of level, don't sell your name. Don't sell your name. Your name is always going to be more than what people think. It has no price tag. So it's a sad.
And all those off-white
thing.
shoes have.
Well, not yes, no. I've been
Most.
watching them. There's still some that are on sale. Nordstrom has a few
okay.
on sale. Godap has some that are on sale. StockX tried it by putting some on sale and raising it through the roof and saying the proceeds were going to go to Virgil and stuff. They got blasted by the Twitter community,
Wow.
immediately took the tweet down. So now you're seeing sensible pricing for the off-whites. They're not back to that outrageous. They were charging $11,000 for the Chicago one off-white with the orange zip tie on it when it was on the market for $800 at before his passing. So for them to even inflate that to that and then drop it back to the $800, you already knew that was a hustle that you were supposed to do. I know, right?
Is it bad enough that we can't even get a drop, let alone a sneaker pass? And now you're going to charge us?
Congress is working on the bots not taking over sales merchandise.
But that's in the U.S. Who knows where these bots are?
I mean, they could be all over, and it is still a high price item. I'm blessed to say I'm glad I own a pair of off-whites. I will probably be not wearing them as much to try to preserve and wear on special occasions, because I know alone they're probably worth triple, quadruple what I paid, because they're a shoe that no one has and no one's ever seen. So when you get those rare items, it's like, oh, thank God I got something from Virgil before I could, because it's gonna be crazy. But I would never sell anyway. I don't really do that so much. I keep my
We'll get into the drops. There's a handful for this week. Starting with tomorrow, we've got the man. How do you say it? Mannery. I just call it Mannery. Mannery and the AJs. The one high OG. They are out tomorrow. I love the swoosh on these. Yeah. Those are nice. My brother sent me these. It was hilarious. He's like, I would have got these, but I don't know about the fur. So you got the AJ4, the Golfs, the black cat. So you've got
he's crazy. He should have went on ahead and got those, even if you weren't going to wear them.
He's not with these for the but
the resale alone thing, would have been ridiculous. Like,
well, it wasn't like he had the chance to. He was thinking like maybe I'd try for them. So
I would try anyway. I would try for those.
So these come out on Saturday. These come out on the 4th. One of these ones, they also have a second colorway. This is the Gore-Tex version. So, me and the rainy people up in Seattle or over there on the East Coast for you, Jonathan, the Gore-Tex AJ ones. These have the Gore-Tex on them. So these are pretty much weather resistant, weatherproof Jordans, which is pretty nice. There's actually the second colorway coming out towards the end of the month. These come out on the 4th as well. Of course, the cool grays are coming out on the 11th.
Going for those.
Of course you are. I'm not an 11 fan.
I'm going for those.
Yeah, I know. You get it. Let me know if I can help you with that.
Yeah, go ahead.
These I'm still interested. So Soli and the AJ one. There's an OG slide. There's a low and a slide. I'm still I don't know what I'm looking
confused
at.
about the slide. I'm
What is
confused
that
about
on
the
Slide. There's like a
slide.
whole pocket that you can maybe put a keys, chapstick. I don't know what else you
I'm
put there.
confused with that slide, and I'm sorry. All it takes is you to have someone step on your foot, and the whole couch
Completely.
opens and
So
things
these
spills
come
out.
out on the 17th. Yeezy, of course, has the 350 Slate Blues. These will be out on the 6th. So
Yeah, I'm
me,
cool
and
on
I
those
can't
too.
do yeah, I know. So there's your sneaker drops for the week. We got picks coming up. Of course, we can't do Thursday because it looks like the Cowboys are up 20-10. So we'll leave that
Yeah, that's
they're-
been
off
going
the
for a
grid.
while. Your Bulls
Yeah.
won tonight too.
I saw that. Go
Against, yeah,
Bulls. We're still
yeah.
4th in the East, so I'll take
And
that.
shout out to Memphis Grizzlies beating OKC by 70 points
Wait,
tonight.
what?
70 points with no
I
Ja
think the
Morant.
spread was like
70
9.5.
points. 70. That score of the game was 129 to 70 something
No
like that. Some
way.
crazy number. It was
Oh my God.
unreal.
152 to 79.
Yeah,
a 73
152 to
point.
79. 70. Yeah.
That is sad. Oh
Well,
my
the Thunder
goodness.
is like a D League type squad
But still,
anyway.
I
But
guess.
SGA, I don't think SGA was playing either.
All
I
right,
have
so
to
we're
look
gonna
and see who's
move through
playing.
these picks. Starting on Sunday, we got the Giants at Miami. Miami had a good game last week. I don't have
Yeah, they
it in front
did.
of me.
I'll go.
They're winning. The Dolphins.
I'll go with them. I'll go with them against the Jets.
Miles Gaskin, the former Husky running back, he's been doing all right for them. I can't, I'm happy for them. Like it's, I'm happy
Mike
for him.
Glennon. That's all it needs. All you need to say.
They
Mike
beat Cam. Cam got
Glennon.
benched versus
Mike
the
Glennon.
Dolphins. Like, come
Well,
on. Like,
Have you ever done couch to 5K? He tried to do couch to quarterback, and it just hasn't worked. If he'd come to Washington, like everybody that he worked with is with us. That's a whole new regime, whole new organization. He doesn't. He also, we never knew what position he'd be in anyway. His shoulder was always ruined the last few years, and so you kind of got what you got.
He wasn't with it. But of course, going up against the New York Giants, of course, they don't have Daniel Jones this week. So I don't know.
They need Daniel Jones, so I'm going to pick Miami on that.
No, they're probably better without him.
You think?
He stinks on ice.
Yeah,
Ouch.
you think so?
Jonathan, who you got for this game?
Dolphins.
All right.
No,
I'm
not
with
even a
you
question.
guys.
Not
Yeah, I
even a
know.
question.
I just can't. So the Colts at the Texans. I mean, Texans did surprise us and get a win. But I don't know about the Colts. Have you guys been watching the Hard Knocks in season? I've caught up to episode 2, but it's pretty good. I enjoy it more than I did the Dallas Cowboys regular Hard Knocks. I'm a Hard Knocks.
I mean, there wasn't much
I
to the
love
Dallas
Hard Knocks.
Cowboys except for the kid. I mean, that's the only
really,
thing
and
that made
that's
the
why
show.
I feel like the Colts we've already seen more. I really am engaged with the coach. I love his story. I hadn't realized like his history because I wasn't watching football back then. But I like his motivational speaking in regards to coaching and his inspirational speaking to the team and kind of making it cohesive and a unit versus just yelling and cussing and whatnot. I'm going with the Colts.
That's
second
okay.
that.
Yeah. All right, Vikings at the Lions. Our Lions are still winless.
This
Do
is
you
the
think
week.
any given
This is a
Sunday,
week that
guys?
I don't know if this is going to be an upset game for the Vikings. I'm sorry. I'm going to go with the Vikings on this. I don't think this is a game upset.
If it was a primetime game and Kirk Cousins playing for the Vikings, I would definitely take the Lions.
Yeah.
Because he is. You saw last week he lined up under the guard.
Right,
So
right.
he is quirky.
Yeah.
All right.
I think the Lions are done.
Yeah,
Okay.
they are.
Eagles at the Jets.
Tie.
I love a good
I know
tie.
this is again another game I wouldn't put on a ticket. I don't know.
Yeah, and then
which way
what
to go
Jalen
on that.
Hurts shows up. Like I never feel like I know which Hurts.
The
is
one they
gonna
don't want
come out.
throwing.
Right.
When you make him throw the ball, that's what you saw last week. When you let him run, and their team is built around running. And so when you take away the run, which I think everybody's kind of figured out, the Giants exposed. And the Giants have a really good defense. Like they've been building to something. Their offense stinks, but their defense is what was propelling them last season. And they almost won the division with him. The Eagles, I agree with you. It's like, are the Jets gonna be able to show up? Is it Zach Wilson still playing quarterback, or are they going back to Mike Hill or Mike
No, I
Smith or
think
Mike
it's
White or
still
whatever his name
Wilson,
was?
unless because the other I'm gonna go with the Jets only because I like a good underdog at some point, and this isn't quite the underdog of the Lions. And I'm not necessarily banked on Philly. Like I feel like whenever I go for Philly, they still lose. So
Philly's counterfeit. I think they
Yeah.
have the easiest path though through the division to
yeah,
win it all, but the for the NFC East because they get to play dogs like the Jets. But
I'm
must
going with
be
the
nice,
Eagles.
yeah,
I'm gonna roll with the Eagles.
of course, yeah,
the
I
Jets
mean,
can't
I
be
was thinking
trusted.
the Jets too because that was going to be the upset game, but I don't think they're
yeah.
going to do it. The spread's got a minus. They've got the game -7 on the Eagles. So I'm
You know how
something's
many
up.
upsets we've had over the course of the
I
last
know.
3 weeks?
I
It's
know.
just like, why do I even bet anymore? You
Did you
know,
guys
like
Now
take
Jalen Hurts does
Denver
have an
over
ankle
the
sprain.
Cowboys a
What's
few
that?
weeks ago? Did you guys take Denver over the Cowboys a few weeks
no.
ago?
No.
Like
And
nobody
I
did.
and
That.
I've
No.
taken the Titans the last 2 weeks who have completely
No, they're
disappointed me.
they're terrible without
Yeah.
Derrick Henry. That did not
Yeah.
work. That
All right.
experiment.
So John, you're
Yeah.
with Philly, I'm guessing, even though you don't want to admit it.
Yeah, I mean,
I've been there. It's
my
okay.
brain is my hatred for the Eagles. It's I have to go with it. Like under no circumstance could you ever choose the Jets.
Plus, their
None.
kicker just got that NFC Special Teams Player of the Month thing, so
Oh
he's like doing
wow.
well. But Jalen Hurts still got an ankle sprain. It's not.
Yeah.
He's not 100%, but he's gonna go forward with it.
Well, hey,
But I
let him
think,
throw the ball, see what happens.
yeah, see what happens.
Yeah.
And
All
you
right,
know,
so we've got the Cardinals at the Bears. Kyler Murray is slated to come back. DeAndre
Mhm.
Hopkins is slated to come back.
finally,
I mean, what else can we say? They've been going. They're still 9-2 after having major injuries, and they're going to play Chicago, who's 4-7.
Who's the
Still better
quarterback
than
of the
Seattle.
Bears? Do we know
Right.
this week?
yeah, right.
Do we know this week?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is Andy
God.
Dalton gonna show back up again?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
that's gonna be a
no.
good murder mystery.
I think they just play him by quarter. Like, hey Fields, you play one. Hey Dalton, maybe we'll let you play the second half. I mean, what can you do?
That's a good strategy. That never works.
Unfortunately, I gotta deal with Arizona. Is everybody going with Cardinals on this one?
Of course,
Okay.
you have to. You have
The
to.
Chargers at the Bengals. The Chargers have been going downhill last 2 weeks, while the Bengals have been climbing.
Well, I need the Bengals to win because again, this is a divisional thing. Our division, the Raiders are tied with the Chargers and the Broncos. We're both sitting on this 6-5 situation. So of course I'm gonna want the Chargers to lose. So I'm gonna go
Right.
with the Bengals. Jamar Chase is still that guy. Their defense is still pretty good. They got Joe Mixon out there running that ball. Whatever. I'm going with the Bengals.
Yeah, Mixon's been good.
I'm going with the Bengals.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bengals. The
I need
Chargers
everybody
are
in that
just,
division
and
to
they're on the
lose.
road going to Ohio. Who knows what the weather's gonna be there like this
Right.
weekend?
They got a -3 in the sports book. Let's say I'm going with Cincinnati.
Mr. Jonathan.
Cincinnati. Let's go for it.
Nasty. The Bengals.
Yeah.
Tampa at Atlanta. I'm surprised the Falcons are 5-6. Like they seem to be. Oh, Mo time's out after an hour for some reason. This was actually longer than an hour, so I'm surprised. She'll pop back in. But yeah, I'm surprised that the Falcons are even 5-6. They're better than the Seahawks. Like, how bad is that?
Well, but they've had a string of some easier wins. Like
Correct. Their schedule is not as
they've not had a
in the
gauntlet.
division.
Yeah,
No, uh-uh.
yeah. So I mean, kind of take it for what it's worth.
Exactly.
I don't. There she is. I don't.
Yeah, I
think
thought I beat it. I thought I wasn't gonna.
I know. I was like over
We're
an
way
hour.
past the
Wow.
time.
I'll go with the Bucks just because it's Tampa Bay. Have you guys been catching his 10 episodes of the Tampa Bay story?
Is that
Natalie's
what I did
watched.
with the school kids? Is that what that was about?
No,
Well, the
this
school
is
kids
the,
was good. That was
it's
good.
it's
That
the
was
Tom
nice.
Brady version of The Last Dance.
Nah, I don't care. I'm still tight about the kid giving up the football. I don't really. Sat on gold and did nothing with it.
Would have had
I
money,
just know
money,
that
money.
he's still scared of Taylor Heineke. Like that
Mhm.
kid scares the bejesus out of him.
But I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. It's Atlanta Falcons. I don't see much coming
I hear you.
that way. Even though they don't have an Antonio Brown, but Rob Gronkowski is back and some other little stuff going on. Antonio's not really the factor for them anyway. I need Chris Godwin to ball out, though. That's what I need for my fantasy. And I need Leonard Fournette
I need Fournette to ball out. Exactly.
Yes, exactly, because I have him on my fantasy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with them.
Okay. I'm assuming that's John too. Jacksonville at the Rams.
This is your upset.
Or Jacksonville.
This is your upset right here?
That's your upset game?
Why not?
No,
I'm all for it. Hey, if the Rams
I was gonna say,
again,
I will watch that show.
I
will watch that show. Do you know how Trevor Lawrence's hair will grow so much stronger, like Samson?
Yeah.
He would think he was a man, like he took on a Goliath for real. So I'm gonna go with the Rams on that. That's definitely the no-brainer for me.
Yeah, I gotta go with the Rams. Unfortunately, it's just Jacksonville. You're going to
minus 13. Come on, I'm not even gonna watch that game.
Oh,
that's a 1 o'clock game here. I'm not watching that.
I know. John, are you going with the Jags?
Might as well.
Let it ride.
Get you the upset. Yes.
Right now. A broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah.
So
hey,
except for the
Lions
a chance.
Clock. So you're saying there's a chance.
Lions clock.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Washington football team at the Raiders.
I'm going with my Raiders. We need to win this. We are in the hunt with the 6-5. We can't even get into a wild card hunt if we don't win any more games. So we need to win some games. And we need to make sure that everybody else in the division takes L's this week in order to do so. So going with my Raiders.
So
John.
For 4 years, I had a radio show, a sports talk show here. And I discovered my pattern is if I pick my team to win, they lose. So I always pick against my team because I'm almost sure just like this jersey works, just everything else. I have a pattern. Like I eat the same thing. So here's why you're going to lose Sunday, because I already have my game day meal, my game day outfit. Everything's going to be exactly the same, and this doesn't fail. So I'm going to pick your Raiders.
Okay.
I'm going to pick your Raiders to win because that means your team will lose.
So you know how any given Sunday that everybody can be wrong once? Yeah. And a streak can be broken? This might be your upset week.
Here's what's going to happen, though, is I'm going to actually go buy a Derek Carr jersey, and that's going to be the death of him. Because I don't buy active player jerseys. The last one I did was
honestly,
Trent Williams.
I think if you wear the Derek Carr jersey, I think he'll play better.
No, that is proven incorrect. Just ask.
So here's my question:
Just ask my Trent Williams jersey.
When you've done the process of the meal, the outfit, the jersey, and what happens when all that transpires, but you lose?
Look, that means that if something went wrong, the universe
something's amiss.
Something's amiss.
So
that
do you
day.
have to
Must
wash everything? Do you have to change the meal? Then
this hasn't been washed. No, this hasn't been washed in weeks.
So he's not going to wake up in time to have his meal. First of all, I think something's going to throw him off kilter on the scheduled regimen.
It's going to be 4 o'clock over there.
Yeah, something's going to be. Something's going to be like my alarm did not go off. Some little small.
Nope, not a 4 o'clock game. Your boy.
Something to be like it'll be 4. So if I overslept on my nap.
Bet on the Washington football team because I don't want them to win. Maybe
I don't know that you have the same magic.
I don't have that magic now because clearly I wanted my team to win last week and that didn't happen either. So I'm gonna go with the Raiders just because I don't want you guys to win because you just beat us, and that's just my hard feeling.
Sorry,
yeah, because the way they did you guys, that wasn't fair and that wasn't nice. It was very rude, as a matter of fact. And so
it was very rude.
And I'm thinking, even if you like have this whole strategic plan out, there is one flaw to Jonathan's thing. There's going to be something that will trip him up out of his day. Something that anomaly will go left. It could be the wind not blowing in the direction it was supposed to blow, and it goes the other way in his city, and then we win. So it doesn't even have to necessarily be whatever he's doing.
It's going to be a crazy hailstorm out there, and the game won't be on. The dish will shut off.
Yes, exactly. Cable will go out. Whatever. Delay it. Something.
We'll see what happens.
Yes, it's only weird if it doesn't work. I'll just put it out there.
Okay. All right.
We'll reach out to you on Monday to
I
see.
really want to check on that for sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'll send you some tweet updates.
Okay.
Thanks. Perfect. Ravens at the Steelers. The Steelers really tanked it this last weekend. They're
done.
Terrible. I mean, really bad.
There's a quarterback for you. Go get Big Ben.
I think we're fine.
Pass.
I think we're good. And I think Seattle's good too on that too. Yeah. There you go.
I'd rather have Geno Smith back in, and that says a lot for me because I don't like Geno.
Jesus.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's saying a lot.
Come on, people have children.
Right.
Hello. Sorry, PG-13.
Now that's very rude to even say
I'm
that.
going to assume that we all go for the Ravens, although the Steelers could have their any given Sunday moment right here versus the Ravens. No, not for anyone. Okay.
They
the Niners
off in overtime. I'm not going to say anything else. Go ahead.
Niners at Seattle. I have to pick Seattle just because it's my team.
Yeah,
However,
of course.
This is not going to be a good game. I'm glad I'm not going to it. And with us being injury prone, I can only hope that maybe Adrian Peterson gets pulled up and somehow they just say here, shovel them. But the Niners defense, we can't just run through them. So I don't see this ever paying off.
Adrian Peterson can.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if the Adrian Peterson can.
Yeah, he should be pretty healthy and rested. I'm going to pick your team. I'm picking the Seahawks.
That's
we know what that means. We know what that means.
Right.
But I also kind of do. I mean, look, if we need a backdoor win to get a little help to get that third wild card spot, then we're gonna need
You'll need the Niners to lose.
The Niners need to kind of take a seat.
Yeah,
and onto the loser's couch there. So
on that note, I will go
Seahawks.
with the Niners to be a hater to Jonathan, not so much for you, Mel. You know what I mean?
I appreciate
because he's doing these pickings and
I get it. We've got the Broncos at Kansas City.
Man, divisional game.
I know you.
And I hate to see it, because again, the Broncos are 6-5, along with the Chargers, along with the Raiders. The Kansas City Chiefs sit 7-4,
7-4.
Like so
Kansas City is currently favored by 9.5.
Of course they are. Of course they are. And they're playing in Kansas City. They figured it out. I don't want them to win. And
I love just doing one parlay card of just underdogs, just because. Like at this point, we're so. Yeah, I'm going Kansas City. Mo, you want to tie?
I got to go with the Chiefs because again, I mean, not to mention I have Pat Mahomes on my fantasy team, and I really desperately need him to do some things. But I just don't want this. I hate when they have these divisional games like this because I don't like either one, for that matter, to advance. But somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose, and I'd rather my Broncos lose and see if we can catch up to Mahomes and company. So I'll go with Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to go Chiefs. They're still hot right now.
Yeah,
they figured it out.
Yeah.
Okay, here's going to be a good Monday night game though. Patriots at the Bills. The Bills fans have been let down a couple times this season.
And honestly,
the Patriots are on a recipe for playoff victory. They're trying to listen. Bill wants to see Tom in the Super Bowl. That's it. They want to have a battle.
I'm going with New England on this. I want all the smoke. I want to see what happens with this team, and I hate New England. I am definitely more for Buffalo, but
I'm down for Mac Jones. I'm not like a New England Patriots fan,
but Mac Jones is doing his thing. Yeah, and I'm loving to see this right now. I'm just loving to see how they overcame a storm without having Cam and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna roll with the Patriots.
Not to mention everybody on my fantasy that I have for Buffalo has given me like under 5 points the last 3 weeks.
And what I mean by storm is that whole Brady kind of lifting spirit leaving the building, finally.
Here's the thing. The Patriots getting Mac Jones is like a rich person winning the lottery. You're like, you didn't even need it. Why are you playing? Right? And sure enough, they go and they get the best quarterback so far.
Yeah.
I think you do have to go Patriots, but man, the Bills are so good. I think at the
They
beginning of the
are.
season, we all thought the Bills would be in the Super Bowl, right? Like at least
Right.
deep in the playoffs.
We all thought for sure.
And they
For
still
sure.
could, but that's going to be a
It's gonna
dogfight
be a
in that
tough,
division.
tough journey. Yeah.
It looks like possible snow and 35 degrees, but the Patriots can play in that too.
Oh, they can play
so
in
it's
that. The
not-
cold weather's
yeah.
nothing. Mac Jones is gonna still ball out. They're
It
on a
shall
roll,
be
and
interesting.
I'm gonna have
That's
to go
going to
with
be that's a
Patriots.
game to watch. Are you
It
going to
is.
Manning Bowl or are you going to regular watch it?
I do
Manning
both because
cast.
I do
Yeah.
like to hear some of the broadcasts, but I really enjoy the interviews, and especially after halftime when they replay what Peyton was eating and how he was eating it. That always makes me really laugh.
There you go.
And also depending on who the guests are.
Sure.
So yeah.
Probably Tom Brady.
Well, geez, we've gone on for a long time, Jonathan. It's now probably way past your bedtime. But we appreciate you for staying up with us because I know it even feels late for us over here. But please let the listeners know where they can find your guys' podcast, how they can find you on social media, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure. Look, you can find the DC Tweet Team podcast anywhere you find podcasting things. So you found this podcast, you can find us, and we're putting together some good stuff. On it, I think we got some good things coming up, and it is DC focused. So like, if you could care less about Washington football team, or maybe you're just like you want to hear a couple guys and some guests kind of chat. Like it's like this. It's very informal. I hate hot take sports. I think it's gross and boring. So we're not that. So it's good. DC Tweet Team. You can follow DC Tweet Team 1932 on Twitter. You could find me on Twitter by my name, Jonathan Osman. But if you really want to see like sports stuff and things I do, or if you are somebody who wants to see what one of these, like kind of what our game day looks like if you have a team you pull for, whether college or professional, and you want to see kind of like what it is that we do, and in the hopes that you replicate it for your school or for your team, check out CLT Washington Fan Club CLT. That is, we've had to change it. It's funny because for a decade we had a real name. We had an actual name, and ever since we've had to become Washington Football, it's confusing because it sounds a lot like Washington State football, or the Huskies or whatever. And so, but yeah, find Washington Football CLT, Washington Football Fan Club CLT. And it's everywhere. And
Awesome.
especially during games, we post reaction videos and stuff like that. We have a lot of fun, and I'm passionate for helping people connect. And so, because it's been the most fun, especially when your team is not always that good all the time. So,
Okay.
Wow.
thanks for
She's
having me
been
on
there.
there.
We've
This has
been there.
fun.
I'm there now.
Yeah, we've
but
all
yeah.
been there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The Lord
Yeah.
knows I've been
It's
there.
just
It's
easy
part
to
of
do it
being a
with
fan.
friends.
It's part of
Yeah.
being a fan.
Absolutely. We all
Yeah.
can't be Patriots fans, or you're like,
We
oh
don't-
man, one season didn't work out.
Or
Like,
Yankee fans, or Mo's Lakers too. But
okay,
anyway,
a popular team.
we
Yeah.
appreciate you for joining us. We thank you very much. Everybody else, we'll be back with you next Wednesday for the show. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and feel free to get involved with this Girl Chat Sports group as well on Facebook. We thank you, everybody. And if you're just now catching the tail end, feel free to watch the replay here on Facebook, and we'll catch you guys later. See ya.